Hi everyone. So today we are going to learn about two things. First is the endotracheal tube and the second is the tracheostomy tube. Today we are going to learn about its types, what are its parts and what are the indications. If you want me to make another video for what is the procedure of inserting an endotracheal tube, you can comment down below. I will surely make another video for that. So let's just begin. So first question which comes in everybody's mind is what is an endotracheal tube? It is a tube that is used to maintain a patent airway, and for the patients that needs mechanical ventilation it is used. The next is what are the parts of an endotracheal tube? So it can have a transparent PVC tubing, a standard 15 connector that connects it to oxygen port or the ventilator ports. The next is the pilot balloon and an air-filled cuff. The ET tube have its own curve, also known as the anatomical curvature or the Meigel curve. What it does is it confirms the shape of the airway, and it is also easier to insert rather than a straight tube. It's a usually 140 radius. The next part is the air-filled cuff. What the air-filled cuff does is it seals the trachea so that the positive pressure cannot escape from the lower airway. It also prevents from aspiration, and it also ensures that tidal volume is reaching to the lungs. One more question arises here is that in the pediatric patients or clients, what type of ET tube we have to use, cuffed or uncuffed? So the answer is the cricoid rings in the pediatric clients or infants is very narrow. So it is said that if we use ET tube with cuff, it can cause damage to the trachea walls. But the updated version is we have to use the ET tube with cuff in each and every client, whether it is adult or pediatric, because the cuff does not cause that much of damage to the trachea. There are vocal cord markers also. These markers is placed at a point in the ET which confirms to some sort of standard idea of the depth from the vocal cord to the trachea. The next part is the Murphy's eye. It is present at the tip of the ET tube. It acts an additional air vent. Basically, if the tip of the ET is blocked with secretions or filthy secretions, there might be still some air entry through that Murphy eye. There are two types of ET tubes. First is the orotracheal tube and the second is the nasotracheal tube. Orotracheal tube have larger diameter and it reduces the work of breathing, while nasotracheal tube has a smaller diameter and it increases the work of breathing. Orotracheal tube is uncomfortable and the patient can manipulate it by the tongue and it can cause the airway obstruction, while the nasotracheal tube is comfortable and the patient cannot manipulate it by his tongue. But in case of bleeding disorders, nasotracheal tube is avoided in case of bleeding disorders. The next topic that we are going to learn here is the tracheostomy tube. So we are going to learn what is tracheostomy tube. A tracheostomy is an opening made surgically directly into the trachea to establish an airway. Tracheostomy tube is inserted into the trachea through this opening. There are four types of tracheostomy tubes. First is the double lumen tube. Second is the single lumen tube, third is the fenestrated tube, and fourth is the cuff fenestrated tube. Now we are going to read about this in detail. The first type of tube is a double lumen tube. It has four parts: the outer cannula, inner cannula, an obturator and a cuff. The outer cannula fits into the stoma and keeps the airway open. The inner cannula fits into the outer cannula and locks into place. And it also serves for the path for respiratory therapy equipment and etc. An obturator is a stillet that is used to facilitate the direction of the tube while inserting or changing your tracheostomy, and the cuff inflates and seals the airway. The second type of tube is a single lumen tube, that is, it does not have an inner cannula and it also does not ensure a patent airway because of the absence of inner cannula. The third type of tube is a fenestrated tube. It has a pre-cut opening in the upper posterior wall of the cannula. What it does is This tube is used to wean the client from a tracheostomy by ensuring that the client can tolerate breathing through his or her natural airway before the entire tube is removed. This tube allows the client to speak. The next type of tube is the cuff fenestrated tube. It facilitates mechanical ventilation and speech and often is used for clients with spinal cord paralysis or neuromuscular disease who do not require ventilation at all times. One thing here is to notice that a cuff fenestrated tube is never used in weaning from a tracheostomy because the cuff, even fully deflated, may partially obstruct the airway. I hope you all liked the video. So please do like, share and subscribe my channel. And for queries, comment down below. And if you want me to make a video on the procedure of inserting an endotracheal tube or a tracheostomy tube, comment down below. I will make my next video on that topic. Thank you.